Okay, so I am Jasmine. I am the vice president of TAC.
There you go. Good job.
And I'm Bree. I'm just a member.
Okay, now real quick. Does the glare get better if you do that, or does the video quality get really gross?
It's good.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay or better?
Better.
Okay. You don't look convincing. Okay.
Better. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit better. I hate to say it, but I really kind of need, like, not quite curtains, but like valances, like the short ones.
Yeah.
Just to block that little tiny piece of too much. Okay,
okay.
Anyway, you're doing new books first, right?
Yeah.
So these are the books that are currently on display because they are new and we are excited about them, which means we probably have not read them, but we can talk about why we think we want to read them.
Okay. So, I got this book right here. This town is on fire. See? Right there.
It's a good cover. I can't remember.
Yeah.
You're going to have to, like, read the
They
synopsis
look like
a little
high
bit.
school cheerleaders on the cover.
Let's see.
To some extent, I think.
Let's see. One video can change everything.
Oh, so they're
Uncertainty, things are up in the air, practically sisters. A video of Kylie calling the cops on two black teens goes viral. And after that, Naomi's life splits into two. Fellow black students are questioning her friendship with Kylie, aka Parking Lot Becky, while her other friends are wondering where this new woke Naomi came from. So, yeah.
Yeah, so.
That's a good one.
And I would
Good
read
topic.
because I'm interested in this kind of stuff, so it would be a really interesting read. Because drama.
Yeah. I like when they can tie in things that, like, actually happen in real life.
Yeah.
Because it helps give you good tools on ways to deal with that kind of thing. So that if you're ever in a situation, you're a little more... That's why we have books. Books teach us how to handle day-to-day life, whether or not they're fiction.
Yep.
Okay, I got this book, The Last Girl Standing. It's about a...
Looks like a murder book.
Yeah, I like murder books. Yeah. It's about these these 4 teens, and they go
pay attention over here. This is me. This is you. Big difference. Less mumble. More talky talk.
That didn't go well.
Okay, this is a psychological thriller book that is about 4 teens who work at a summer camp, and
Ooh.
they get attacked by a bunch of men with machetes.
Holy crap!
So I read.
Machetes?
Yeah.
That's a horrible way to die.
Friday 13th.
Yeah.
That's a horrible way to go.
I would read this. The cover looks really good.
It looks like a cult.
It does.
Because they all wore a mask, too. So, that's fun.
Oh, it says she tasted like sugar the first time they kissed. She tasted like blood the next.
Well,
Must be
I have
romance.
words for that I can't say on this podcast, but that's that's bad. That sounds horrible. Like,
Yeah.
super scary horrible.
Okay. Yes.
I have a couple I
Yeah,
pulled.
Jamie, you go.
Okay, let me come over here so that I can show them off into camera. Okay, we got The Women Who Built Hollywood. Just look at it. It's 12 trailblazers in front of and behind the camera. So it's like women... In the early days of Hollywood, these are 12 women who helped make it all happen. They're diverse actors, directors, writers, editors, designers, and producers who fought against sexism, racism, and prejudice to have their voices heard, and who changed the industry forever. Sounds kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like, it's got pictures and stuff, too. I like a book that's got pictures and stuff in it, too. Like, I, of course, have not yet had a chance to read this, but it looks cool. It's one of those ones I bought kind of because I wanted to read it, and I assumed that meant that somebody else would, too, because generally speaking, it's never just one person who would be interested in something.
Yeah. Like, multiple people can be interesting in one thing.
Yeah. Let's see, I grabbed The Bones of Burka. Also looked interesting. It's unraveling the mystery of a female Viking warrior.
That's in like the 1800s, 1700s?
It's
Oh no.
let's see. An archaeologist discovers bones contain the most significant Viking warrior grave ever opened. when they discover that they're female, they upend centuries of historically accepted conclusions and ignite a furious debate about the reality of female Viking warriors and the role of gender in both ancient and modern times. It's really kind of cool.
I never knew they had female Vikings.
I don't know.
Well,
Well,
like
that's-
Vikings were a whole culture of people, which means you have to have both in order to
Usually-
continue the culture. But
Usually,
generally speaking, we were under the assumption that all warriors were men.
yeah.
Mostly because of our own biases, because of the, like, Indo-European thing where men ruled all and,
Female
cracked
was-
things up a whole bunch. But,
And team was just cook and clean.
exactly. They kind of, as a system, that narrative was pushed in order to keep that system in place. But as they discovered through new ways of looking at bones and figuring out what those bones are, once we found out that she was female and she was buried with, warrior things and with the reverence of a warrior, it really opens up the discussion of, do we know about the past what we think we know about the past? And what does it say about us today? Which it's, once again, haven't read it yet, but it looks super cool. I want to read it.
Yeah.
I mean, this one doesn't really have too many pictures. It does have some, black and white pictures of things that they found in the graves with warriors. And it's got, chapter titles like A Closer Look at Viking Bones. Wait, what? The famous Burka warrior really is female? Wow! Warriors, weapons, and women. It just, like I said, it sounds interesting.
Yeah, I like it.
And it's not very long. It's only, gee, I don't think that's even an inch thick. So,
Yeah.
if you're going to dive into historical, scientific, forensic things, this might be a good way to start, as opposed to that one we got that's this big and talks about how the FBI got started and bullets and blood and all kinds of weird stuff.
That sounds interesting.
I'll pull it off the shelf for you. This one I pulled only because I thought the cover looked cool. I was like, yay! It's a book 3, so we probably bought it because I knew we had books 1 and 2. But
Yeah.
the beauty trials, like I said, the cover's kind of cool. Let's see. Dangerous and erratic former queen. She's been imprisoned. Her sister sits on the throne, has to make decisions. Trials are more dangerous than any of them bargained for. Let's see. New York Times bestselling author returns to her sweeping, lush fantasy series with an all-new story teeming with high-stakes court intrigue and danger disguised by beauty. Like I said, I bought it probably because I knew we had books 1 and 2. And because it sounds like a fantasy thing that circs really well. But I picked it today merely because look at that cover. It's so nice.
Yeah.
Sometimes it really is. That's the deciding factor as to why we
Yeah.
hey, this is pretty cool. Do we have any other new items we want to talk about? New things?
No.
We do have a nice selection down there of other new things. There's a handful of new Christian fiction. There's a really nice handful of graphic novels, but I couldn't quite decide which ones to grab. We have the manga version of Frankenstein that came upstairs this month. And there's a couple other ones that look cute, but I haven't had a chance to look at them too much yet, so I didn't grab those.
Yeah, Hannah likes graphic novels.
Yeah. I like those graphic novel retellings of classic stories. I think they're pretty cool.
Yeah. It's
Yeah. It's a digestible way to do those things, and if you've done that ahead of reading it or while reading it, for English class, it makes a little bit more sense. Because you already got base knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah, it helps.
It helps a lot.
Anything else? New? Exciting?
No.
Woohoo! Can we pretend to be enthusiastic?
Yay!
Yay, okay.
Okay.
Now what are we talking about?
We were talking about book recommendations.
Yay.
Yes, in theory, these are books we've read and we know other people would like too. But sometimes they're just books we want to read and haven't had a chance to yet. Bree, are you going to go first?
Sure. All right, I got
What you got?
Holes by Lewis.
That was a good one.
I
liked
loved
that one.
it.
I
It
read
was
that
so
one
good.
a long time ago. The movie's really good too.
Did you know that in the movie they use bearded dragons as the lizards?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, because bearded dragons are harmless.
As opposed to the weird, freaky.
Yeah, red-eyed
Yeah.
things.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also have Wilder Girls by Rory Power. It's a psychological thriller. Really good. I loved it.
Nice. Psychological thriller. You like those, don't you?
I love psychological thrillers.
See, I cannot get into that. I don't even watch those. Like, at least with science fiction, I can say, well, I watch it, but I don't really read it. But I can't even do that. No.
Yeah, well, Wilder Girls is about, like, how these, like, this school of girls gets infected with something like the COVID, but they call it the tox. And,
Because it was toxic.
yeah, but they put the school on,
Keep in mind, you got to watch this.
They
You're
put
very mumbly.
they put the school on lockdown, and the CDC basically said that they were going to try and find a cure, but they don't. And they basically just abandoned the girls at the end.
They abandoned them? That's
Pretty
horrible.
much.
There. It works.
It does. We do. Some of us need to have this closer to us. I do not have a problem with projection.
Wait, no.
Hold this. I will get you a stool. That might be easier, Jasmine, than sitting there. Okay, anyway, they get abandoned at the school. The grown-ups suck. The moral to the average teen book is really just literally grown-ups
Oh.
suck.
And everybody dies.
Yeah, grown-ups suck, everybody dies. Which is not entirely true to reality, but we do appreciate reading those usually.
Yeah.
My spikes are always the biggest. I just like it when yours are visible. Like I said, I still don't understand why anybody would want to listen to this when 90% of the time I don't think they can hear us.
I just hold the mic up. That works.
It does.
It does really. Like I said, some of us need to be closer to it. I said, like, I am loud generally as a human, and so it's less of a problem for me, but yeah.
It works.
Mm-hmm.
It does.
Okay, so those are ones you recommend because you've read them and you know they're good,
Yeah.
right? I have a couple of those too. I have.
I think Holes is more for like children based.
It's more of a middle grade read where
Yeah.
like I think the characters are in like junior high, but I think you can read it in like 5th through 6th grade, which depending on
Yeah.
where you live is junior high or it isn't. But it's a really good one. I like that one. Mm-hmm. I have. Technically, you started it. It's really fun. The entire thing, it's a quick read. It's all told in like text messages and things. So it's a super, super fast read. But it's really, really cute because Martin Nathaniel Monroe's II texts you. It should be obvious who you're talking to, except there's 2 of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Haley thinks she knows which one is the good one. A question about a class project rapidly evolves into an all-consuming conversation. Haley finds that Martin is actually willing to listen to her weird facts and unusual observations. And Martin feels like Haley is the first person to really see who he is. Haley and Martin might be too awkward to hang out in real life, but over text they're becoming addicted to each other. There's just one problem. Haley doesn't know who Martin is, and Martin doesn't know that Haley doesn't know. But they better figure it out fast before their meet cute becomes an epic meat disaster. It's really cute. It's adorable. I like this. I really liked this one. I think I made Ollie read it. I can't remember if he liked it or not. I think maybe he didn't, but I think Amber did. One of them did and one of them didn't. So it has been tested by several TAC members. I always cover Jasmine. I'm sorry. There we go. It has been tested by several other TAC members, not just Jami, but I did really enjoy this one. It's super cute. Technically, you started it. And this is one that I had on my staff picks display because it's one I know I've read. Where She Went. It is the sequel to If I Stay. I actually like this one better than the first one.
I read If I Stay.
This one's really good. I really
haven't
like
read
this
any of
one.
them.
This one doesn't make a lot of sense if you haven't first read If I Stay.
Yeah.
The premise of If I Stay is she's in an accident with her family. Her whole family dies. She's in a coma. And it's her.
A movie about that.
Yeah, and the movie's not bad. It's a pretty good adaptation. And like she's this like cello prodigy that comes into play later. Like she does music, and she's got this boyfriend who does music, but he does like rock music, so like different kinds of music. And her dad was in a band growing up, and you know, like so like she's got this whole cool eclectic family, and then they're in this accident, and like everybody dies, and she's in a coma, and it's her like in a coma seeing all of these things that are happening and deciding whether or not she's going to stay.
Ain't her only living relative or like her grandpa or something?
It's either grandparents or an aunt and uncle. I can't remember. It's somebody. She has somebody, but I can't remember for sure who it was. This is the follow-up to that. It's where she went. And this one's told from the boyfriend's perspective instead of from her perspective. And it's like 5 years later. It's really cool. And they do a really good job of kind of telling and explaining how they got to this weird, awkward point that they're at now without it being, like, super chronological or super flashbacky. And they do a really good job of, like, having good, deep conversations about things. I like books where you do... You don't just talk... They don't just say, well, we talked about this. You see them talk about that, because I think it's good modeling behavior, because I can stand here and tell you that communication is key until I am blue in the face, but it doesn't do any good if we don't actually communicate. So it's good to have it there. I really, really like this one. This one is good. And way less sad, because you already know everybody's dead. Not like the other one, where you're finding out page by page. Yeah.
That movie just made me...
That one was a pretty good movie. I
liked it, and I liked the book, but it just made me sad.
It does. This one's a good one. I recommend this one. I know it's not quite usually what you read.
Yeah.
But it's a good one. It's fun. And it's probably what I will be talking about at Nerd Herd on the 18th, because it is the one off the top of my head that is music-based.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you have other things you wanted to talk about? Book recommendations? Books you want to read? No? You're going to do that batch when we do currently reading?
Oh, no. I forgot about those.
I thought maybe you did.
Another one.
Okay, I have The Hate You Give. It's been on my to-be-read list for quite a while.
It's been on my list for quite a while, too. Yeah. I know a lot of people who have really, really enjoyed it. I know it has sparked very good conversations. It's a good conversation starter.
Well, I saw the movie when I was, like, maybe 8 years old, and I really liked it.
How old now?
I don't know. I was young, though, when I first
Probably,
saw it.
yeah. If you watched it when it came out, that was a good, 4 or 5 years ago now?
Yeah. And then I also have All the Bright Places. It looks really good. I know a couple people who have read it.
Did they make that a Netflix movie?
I don't know. Maybe?
If I remember correctly, that's one of the ones that somebody didn't like how they did the movie, but I don't remember for sure.
Let me go check.
Yeah, it looks really good. I know a couple people from school who've read it. And then...
My crayons.
I also have The Island. I started it, but to be honest, I didn't really like it.
That is okay. You don't have to like all of them, and you don't have to finish every book you start. Now, this is a Natasha Preston book. I know I buy a lot of her books because she's really popular, because she does a lot of the, like, murder, mayhem, and kidnapping.
Yeah.
But
I like those kind of books.
Why didn't you like it?
I didn't like it.
Because the reason you didn't might be the reason somebody else does.
Yeah, I didn't really like it because it had a lot of modern influencers in there, like Instagram influencers. And
like, she mentions real people, or...
No, they're fake, but they're like your stereotypical Instagram influencers, and it was just really cringy for me, honestly. Like, I like the...
Yeah, some people really like that level of realism to what's going on today, and some people don't. It's really very...
Yeah, I don't. I just didn't really like...
Yep, they made a movie, All the Bright Places.
Is that the one with what's her name? The blonde who's related to that other woman?
Yeah. Probably.
Just for the order I get, the more I turn into my mother. Yeah. Yeah. That was a weird movie. I don't know about that one. That was a weird movie.
I think the dude commits suicide or something like that.
There's something about that, yeah.
Because I think he jumped off a cliff or something.
I think so, yeah. That's what I was thinking. It was the movie where the kid jumps off the cliff, which is never recommended, for the record.
Yeah, never do that, please.
No. No, I'm a big proponent of it will get better. That is not a good option. And find somebody to talk to.
Yep. Like, make friends.
No, I had a friend who it's not good for anybody.
Yeah, I know a couple people.
Me too.
Okay, was that all we had on recommendations, things we know?
Yeah.
Okay, then
Oh my god.
okay, currently reading. What are we currently reading and can talk about? Mine are picture books. What are yours?
Okay, so I'm reading this at school. Don't turn around. It's about like a girl
It
named
sounds ominous.
Yeah. A girl named
Just
Nora.
saying.
Like she's walking home from like school or something, and that's the last thing she remembers before waking up in like an abandoned warehouse somewhere, surrounded by doctors and everything else. And I'm not far into it yet. I only read that much of it. So yeah, like she escapes the warehouse and she gets like a new computer or like a laptop something, and she calls a friend of hers to get money and so she can like get away so the like people that took her don't find her again. So yeah, it's actually a really good book.
How do you two sleep at night? Some of the things that you read. Do you want to know what I'm reading this week? Our storytime letter of the week is K. So my favorite I'm reading is The King Who Wouldn't Sleep, because it's funny, and The Kiss That Missed, because it's adorable. Yeah, The King Who Wouldn't Sleep. He has a daughter. He loves her so much he has to make sure that she ends up with the right prince, and so he never sleeps. And he finds fault with every prince. And this farmer kid who watches because he lives near the castle, he shows up and he says, every day for a week he comes with, I have 10 blank, like puppies, chickens, pigs, whatever. I have
puppies.
10 whatevers. And he's never right. Like it's 1, then it's 2, then it's 3, it's never 10. On the last day, he shows up with like, I have 100 sheep. And the king says, well, you've never counted once yet this week. Why should I believe you? And so the king counts sheep, falls asleep. The princess and the farmer get to have conversations and talk. There we go, back to communication. They fall in love, they get married, and the king finally sleeps. It's just adorable. It's fun. And we are at the time of the year where I only read picture books, so leave me alone. What do you got, Bree?
I'm reading both the Fourth Wing and The Book Thief. The Fourth Wing is like an introductory book to fantasy or high fantasy with enemies to lovers romance.
Oh, I love those.
I love
know.
those too.
And I am not so particular that I get mad if it's not true enemies. Like, some people get real twitchy if it's not, like, real enemies. Like, I'm okay with just antagonistic banter turning to I love you banter. Yeah. Like, that still counts in my book. Me, just because I enjoy both versions. It's fun.
It with me, like, from whatever to lovers. It, like, for me, I like when they, like, really hit each other and they, like, progress to like each other, and at the end they love. So that's just me. People are different, so.
I'm not very far in it right now. I'm only on like chapter 2, almost chapter 3. Also, I have this really cool bookmark. It's a plant. It's cute. Thanks. And so far, she meets Zadian. I think is how you say his name. I don't know. But
in fantasy, nobody ever knows. We just make it up until either the audiobook or the movie comes out, and then we're like, oh!
Yeah.
They pronounce it a whole different way than we pronounce it.
Yeah. But the sequel to this came out in November, I believe. So after I read this, I'm probably going to read that. But there's a lot of controversy going on about that.
Why?
Because a lot of people say that the Iron Flame, which is the second one, isn't very good.
Oh.
And
That's
how...
not really controversy. That's just people have opinions.
Yeah, but also the author used Gaelic to write her story. And there's Gaelic and there's Gaelic, which is two different languages in two different countries. And she's saying that she used one when she really used the other.
Okay, so she's like an idiot.
Yes!
Okay. Like, she's not like purposely setting out to be disrespectful. She's just an idiot, which is sometimes worse.
Yeah.
Because then you just don't care enough to pay attention.
Yeah, but
yeah, okay, yeah, that could be, I could see where that would be a problem, especially for people in either one of those areas who do speak those languages.
Yeah.
That would be very annoying and obnoxious.
And then I'm also reading The Book Thief for school. We're like 400.
Did you show them the map? That book comes with a map.
Oh, yeah.
You have to show off the map because the map is super cool.
Of course we're
I love books that come with maps. See?
Very cool map. There's another one at the back, I think.
Is it the same map? Or?
I don't know.
Well, we'll show it too. Just in case it's different. There. Maps. Now, granted, I usually take one look at a book that has a map and I'm like, that's going to be too complicated. I'm going to get lost.
Yeah.
But I love a good map.
Yeah.
I can't read them, but I love a good map.
I can't
Okay.
read maps either.
You are also reading
The Book Thief by Marcus Zuzak. How do you say his last name? Zuzak?
Zuzak, I think.
I don't know.
I don't think it's really a Z, but I'm not sure.
Okay, whatever.
Zuzak.
But it's about
Zuzak.
Liesel and how she steals books during World War II to try and save the books from the book burnings and stuff. And it's narrated by Death, which is really cool, I think.
It's a different perspective.
Yeah, it is definitely unique, but
I haven't actually read that one, but I've heard lots of good things because you are, I think, batch number 8 or 9 that I've had who has read it for English.
oh yeah.
So
I don't know how to read that for English. I read it first couple pages. It was okay.
I know some people say it takes a little bit to get into, and I know quite a few people who have said if they didn't read it for class, they would like it because it's on a time period and a topic that they enjoy reading about and learning about. But because English classes, if they're doing their job right, so that you learn how to dissect and communicate about literature and understand literature, if they're doing it right, it really kind of sucks a lot of the fun out of reading.
Yeah.
But then you have those skills and you can you're a better reader overall in other things for fun. So I'm not dissing the English classes because I do think that they're important and I do think that you can never go wrong with an English class.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I minored in English. I think it's fun. But I do think sometimes in order to do it right so that you have the foundational building blocks to then be able to do more things, it takes a lot of the fun out of things.
Yeah.
Because you have to sit and make notes and you have to dissect things and you have to chapter by chapter it instead of just reading.
I hate doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just let us read the book.
Our teacher makes us do discussions every single day.
That's good.
I never talked during those. I was like, nope.
Yeah,
I had a couple classes where I really didn't talk much, and then I had some where I did talk. Some of it really just depends on who else is in the room with you.
Yeah. My entire table just talks about basketball the entire time.
Well, that's not helpful.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with basketball, but okay.
I like the book, but I think there's just way too many subplots between Max and Rudy and Liesel and her papa. And
sometimes they do that. There's a lot of things going on.
Yeah. And how Death narrates, and then he goes off on his own little journey of whatever he's talking about.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. Okay, do we have anything else that we're currently reading? Or excited about reading? Or looking forward to reading?
I'm also reading The Art of Racing in the Rain, but I don't have it with me.
Have you seen that movie?
Yeah, it's really sad.
It's horrible! I mean, it was a really good movie. It was a well-done movie. But that was horrible. I had never read the book, right? Because it's an adult book and I don't have time for that.
How is it an adult book? It's like a children's book. It's so easy.
No, but like it's marketed towards adults. I don't have time to. I never read things that don't have pictures in them. Like, I just don't have time to read as much as I'd like of other things. And so when the movie came out, I went to see it because it has what's his name in it, Jess from Gilmore Girls.
Yeah,
I like him. And so I went to see it because I was like, oh, this will be fun. It's a dog and it's Jess. This will be great. No. Well, first of all, you go into any dog movie assuming that the dog is going to die. Because the movie's going to go through the dog's lifespan, and eventually the dog's going to die and you're going to cry. This was horrible. I cried like 3 times in that movie.
Yeah.
1.5 of which I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, that's how movies are.
I was like, you get to the middle. And do you care if I spoil this for you?
No.
Okay, I'm going to talk now. If you don't want to listen, you don't have to listen, but this movie came out like 4 years ago, so you should know what's happening. Anyway, you get halfway through the movie, and his wife dies.
Yeah.
It's horrible, it's sad, it's awful, but the dog's still alive.
I'm almost to that part of the book.
And then his, parent-in-laws, her parents, get super mean and twitchy, and they take their kid, his daughter, they take her away from him because he is an unfit parent when he really wasn't. There was nothing wrong with what he was doing. He was fine. And and I think it was mostly just because they were mad that she had married him to begin with. And, yeah, so then he spends the rest of the movie fighting to get her back. He does finally get her back, but it's horrible. And then he gets to the end and the dog dies.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's a whole bunch of... It's a horrible movie. And I'm sitting there in the theater, because I'm an idiot. I didn't know to expect this. It's horrible. It's awful.
I would have done the same thing.
It was horrible.
Just crying movie.
Now, granted, I was not the only person in that theater crying with ugly sounds, so it was okay. But it was I really like knowing ahead of time that I'm going to be upset.
Yeah, the book is really fast-paced. It's really simple and fast-paced.
I think that was kind of the point. It was, the dog's perspective of life.
Yeah.
And whatnot. So
it's really good. I like it. His writing's really good, but it's really simple too.
I need 2 more minutes. We are almost done. We're gonna have to wrap this up. Study buddies are here.
Okay, I'm done. Oh crap. Okay, I'm done.
Are we done? Are we sure we don't have anything else we want to talk about? Because we do technically have 1 more minute.
Nope, I'm good.
Okay,
I'm
if
good.
we're good, awesome. Then thank you for listening. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.